Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Investor Talk, where we dive deep into the innovations, insights, and individuals shaping the future of property investment in South Africa and beyond. And today's conversation is something special, a story of homegrown excellence earning global recognition. I'm joined today by Paul Rudecock. He's the Chief Analytics Officer at Lightstone. And first off, I must say to you, Paul, congratulations to you and the Lightstone team on being named Proptech Innovator of the Year at the 2025 Reside Awards. It's a well-deserved recognition.
Thank you. Thanks, Neil.
No, good. All right. So, and we actually more to actually unpack another major milestone, which is Lightstone's recent EAA accreditation. And that's the first ever which is awarded to an African business. And this global recognition places Lightstone at the forefront of AI-powered property analytics and sets a new benchmark for the industry, both locally and internationally. So we'll be exploring what this recognition means, how Lightstone got here, and what it signals for the future of property data, valuations, and tech innovation from the continent. So, Paul, welcome. Let's start off with the headline news. I mean, what exactly is the EAA, the European Analytics Association accreditation, and why is this such a big deal for Lightstone and the continent?
Yeah, so Neil, the European AVM Alliance is a non-profit organization of businesses in Europe that provides automated valuations in those markets. And their main mission is to promote the awareness of automated valuations and a greater understanding of the benefits it can deliver. It represents the industry in European institutions like European Parliament to make sure that legislation accommodates their clients' needs. But most importantly, and the main reason why we engage with them is they establish high-quality standards for automated valuations across their jurisdictions, which before we joined was only Europe.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys have made history as the first African business to achieve this. I mean, how did Lightstone become the first to receive this recognition? I mean, what put you on their radar?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story. So we launched our artificially intelligent valuation model in 2019. And at that time, we believed that that was the first automated valuation model that made use of very advanced machine learning techniques. And that made us think that we should probably put this thing through some kind of traditional measure of standard so that our clients can have comfort that we're not introducing some weird AI that's going to break their businesses or going to break the industry. If we just think back a couple of decades, a big part of the 2008 housing market crash in the US that led to a global depression or economic downturn was because portfolios of properties were incorrectly valued. So we didn't want to introduce any of that into our market, but we also wanted to give our clients comfort and confidence that this new product is up to the highest standards. Now, obviously, if we had to do it ourselves, people would say, "Oh, but you're marking your own homework." So we got in touch with the European AVM Alliance, who's got an established process. And they've heard of us and said that they're very impressed with what we've done, and ended up changing their memorandum of incorporation and their rules to allow for a non-European member to apply, which we've then done, and then started the process to put this product through the ringer.
Okay, great. So let's unpack the journey a little. What criteria did Lightstone have to meet to earn EAA accreditation, and what did the process involve?
Yeah, so firstly, they looked at our shareholding structure, our company structure, and the main reason for that is to make sure that we are independent. We don't have any reason to want to tweak valuation models to preference one of our shareholders. So independence is almost the first hurdle to clear. And then when you go into the standards of the automated valuation model, it goes into everything from how our IT infrastructure is secured to our data processes. How do we clean data? How do we get rid of weird data? Right into the very advanced machine learning algorithms that we deploy. And then with the end state to make sure that the product performs the way we promised the market it will perform. So up to today, every quarter, we have to continuously prove that when we predict a house price with a certain confidence level, that it will actually fall within that confidence level. So we do backtesting reports every quarter where we looked at what we would have predicted a house sell for, what it actually sold for, and how much deviation was that, and is that in line with the confidence we provided with the prediction. But our clients have a continuous surety that when we say that we're very confident in a prediction versus we're not that confident, that they can use that and automate their decisions based on that without worrying that the model doesn't perform the way it should.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the impact on property valuations. How does this accreditation affect the credibility of your property valuations, especially in high stakes environments like banks, REITs, and property developers?
Yeah, so we've always known we had a good product, and we produce service level agreements with our clients monthly. We take them through that. They check that our product is of a high standard. But the accreditation adds an independent confirmation of the quality, stability, and independence of the product for our clients. For ourselves, it gives us surety and comfort that even though we built a very advanced piece of AI, it is still explainable and holds up to the highest level of scrutiny we could find in the world. So for ourselves, it adds a massive confidence in the fact of knowing that even though this is a very complicated mathematical model in the background, it's still explainable, it still performs as any traditional statistical method would have worked.
So, I mean, we've seen AI has become central to property data and valuations. In your view, how has AI transformed the accuracy, the speed, and scale of valuations over the last few years?
Yeah, when Lightstone started about 18 years ago, all property valuations in South Africa were either done through a manual desktop research or through a valuer that physically visited the property. Obviously, this meant that the banks took longer to grant loans, and it cost them a lot of money to pay all of those people. And our traditional AVM addressed this partially through the use of traditional statistical techniques like regression and like the stuff that was very topical at that time and that computers could do at that time. So over the last decade, computing power and the evolution of machine learning technology allowed us to start innovating on that traditional product and combine all of our learnings and experience of the last 18 years with all of this new technology. And that allows us to identify way more nuanced aspects of the property value, but it also allows us to increase the coverage of the number of properties. So there's 7.1 million residential properties in South Africa formally registered. And we could up the coverage of properties where we could provide an automated valuation model by an additional 11% with the AI we introduced.
Okay.
So accuracy and coverage, which is
absolutely massive. Yeah. So there's been a lot of hype and fear around AI, particularly in real estate. I mean, what are some of the biggest misconceptions or misuses of AI-powered valuations that you've seen in the market?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception of AI, because it's so topical in generative AI, so the ChatGPT and large language models that everyone is speaking about nowadays, a lot of those models have a very untransparent or opaque view, and it's a bit black boxy. So sometimes even the developers of those algorithms don't always understand why the algorithm behaves the way it does. So that creates a lot of fear because you don't know if this thing is going to go off the rails and you can't explain why. So when we develop AI, focus on narrow AI that's explainable and transparent and can be explained in human language. That's very important because if you can imagine that in a market like ours, if the bank says, you think your house is worth 2 million, we only think it's worth 500,000, they need to be able to tell you why they believe that. And it's not just because of some random black box that's padded out.
Yeah.
So in our market, we haven't seen AVM providers misuse AI. In other markets, it created a lot of noise where substandard valuation models was given to consumers and created false expectations of the values of their properties. And then when they want to sell or buy properties, the banks would use a lending grade AVM like ours, which would be inconsistent with what they saw on the internet, the consumers. And that just created mistrust. And that's partially why the European AVM Alliance was established, is to make sure that people understand that there's a difference between some random value that a website on the internet gave you and what the bank would ultimately use, which is a very verified and explainable and transparent valuation model.
Yeah, well, we talk about the municipalities as well because, that affects your rates bill. Would they be included in that as well?
Yeah, so we've been speaking to municipalities over the past couple of years to use our valuation model. Many of them make use of valuation companies that then have access to our technologies, and that makes their lives a lot better and more accurate. But what we've seen more recently is consumers or property owners using our valuation model, our AIVM, to contest a valuation that they feel the municipality got wrong, and they are relatively successful with that.
Well, that's good. So what's the idea of global standards in property valuation that is so important now, especially with AI in the mix?
Yeah, I think AI evolves so quickly, and legislation in different parts of the world evolves very quickly because it's such a powerful technology. So our involvement with the European AVM Alliance helps us to stay on top of and help influence how this happens so that our clients can continue to reap the benefits of AI in their processes without us or anyone else introducing the bad stuff that could go wrong if you have these black boxes or AVMs that has hidden agendas in the mix.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the South African property and Lightstone strategic outlook. I mean, for your clients and partners in South Africa, what tangible difference will this accreditation make? I mean, will they feel the impact?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, our banking clients obviously will now have additional confidence and surety in the product, which means they can open the rule sets that they use to automate. So most banks would have a set of rules to say, if Lightstone provides an AVM with a confidence over a certain threshold, you can use that valuation in the calculation of the loan to value in order to make a decision around whether the loan is granted or not. If they know that they can have more confidence and independent verification that this product works the way it should, they can open those rules to make more home loans granted quicker for consumers. And it introduces less cost in the process, less cost and less time. Obviously, for estate agents, knowing that most of the banks are going to use these automated valuation models, they use that as input to counsel the buyer and the seller before the deal even happens towards a price that is market related and would be acceptable by the banks. Because for estate agents, one of the biggest pains is you go through the whole process only to right at the end get to a place where the buyer can't get a loan because the bank doesn't agree with the value of the property. So it's less failed deals for them. And then for consumers, both the buyer and the seller, there's quicker transaction times and confidence that a fair market price was reached in the transaction negotiation. So those are the three stakeholders that we believe we need to all serve in whatever we produce when we produce a valuation model.
Excellent. So there's progress. So, and beyond South Africa, are there plans to expand or leverage this recognition in international markets or new services?
Yeah, we're always looking at global opportunities, and this accreditation confirms that we are on par or better than the world's best. So it does provide an opportunity for us to look at markets and potentially launch similar products there.
Excellent. So, I mean, this milestone to me fits into a bigger story of the South African Proptech innovation. And as I mentioned up front, you guys got the Proptech Innovator of the Year. So that fits in perfectly. But I mean, what does it say about the level of analytics and data science emerging from the continent?
Yeah, I think, well, South Africa and Africa might not have massive companies that build self-driving cars or autonomous robots, where a lot of the really cool AI and data science work happens. The South African data science community have proven and are continuously proving that we are world-class in the narrow AI we built. We have some of the cleverest people in the world, and businesses like ours, it's our job to make sure that we provide a place where those really clever people can live a greater purpose and do amazing things like this.
Okay, excellent. So, how does this recognition align with Lightstone's broader mission and roadmap for property intelligence going forward?
So we believe that a market with uh, uh, information and access to information is a market that works more effectively. So we make it our life's mission to provide superpowers to our clients using information and data and intelligence and machine learning. So for us, we always say that it would be great if every estate agent, every mortgage lender, and every consumer, whenever they are on a Lightstone system, will have superpowers that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And that oils the entire industry and makes sure that the industry stays robust and in a place where we won't see things like the 2008 crisis.
Okay. So, I mean, we often talk about data being the new oil, but it's the refinement that matters. What role does data integrity and analytics excellence play in transforming the property sector?
Yeah, the saying about data being oil is actually such a great saying because it could be oil that's a spill on your garage floor, which makes you worry. It it could be something that totally overwhelms you and you drown in. So we often try and move away from getting excited about the data and the oil, but rather say, what is the problem we're solving? Do we want a diesel engine to run on this, in which case we have to refine the oil to become diesel, and we have to design the engine in a way that it's efficient and great for whoever wants to use it. So for us, the refining of the data is super important, but towards a specific goal. So in the case of the AIVM, the goal is to value properties accurately and fast. And the way we get there might be very complicated, and it might be the best piece of machine learning that was ever deployed in South Africa, but that's not the point. The point is we help value the property quickly and accurately.
Okay. I mean, is that the key message you'd send to other African businesses in property, tech, or data that are aiming to meet global benchmarks or enter global conversations, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I think that the overarching message is everyone speaks about AI. The best thing to do is to just try something. I think the lovely thing about our markets and Africa as a whole is we're not overly regulated like places like Europe or the US. So it's actually easy to just give something a go. In fact, this AIVM that's now changing the industry was never part of a formal innovation process or plan, even in our organization. It started off as an experiment with a data scientist, our head of special projects, where I just said, go and play with this and see if there's anything there. And as the experiment proved that there might be value, we invested more time and effort in it. And that would probably be my advice for anyone who wants to innovate, is just start with something, just build something or do something rather than just talk about it and read about it.
Excellent. We don't become these keyboard warriors. So finally, what's next for Lightstone in this space? Any innovations or milestones we should keep our eyes on?
Yeah, so as I previously mentioned, we believe in using technology and AI to provide superpowers to our clients. I think the predictive technology and AI that we currently focus on is very much around protecting our clients in a really tough environment. I think we all expect some more headwinds as a country. But the same technology that can open up opportunities can also help you protect your client base and protect the area that might be vulnerable if the country faces headwinds. But this too shall pass. So we have a couple of opportunity-driven innovations that's also waiting in the wings, which we probably won't launch in a market that's not ready for it.
Well, we look forward to it. So, Paul Rudd, thank you very much for an insightful, inspiring conversation. I think Lightstone's global accreditation is more than just a win for one company. It's a powerful signal of what's possible when local innovation meets international standards. To our viewers and listeners, until next time, I'm Neil Peterson along with Paul Rudicock of Lightstone, and this is Investor Talk.